Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, and thank you for joining us here on NDB Media Monday Night in America. Sorry, folks, I'm doing a bunch of things right now, and I apologize for being a bit distracted. My name is Roger. Thank you for joining us. You are now watching the longest running program on the internet at 17 plus years. Ever since Red versus Blue went out at 24, that's it. That's it. We started in September of 2008, and we are the longest running continuous program on the internet. And we're damn proud of that. Now, it was thrown in my face something about Joe Rogan. I said, well, Joe Rogan began in 2009. So sorry. We've been running for just a tid more. But hey, thank you for joining us. It is Monday Night in America. And sorry for the absent-minded moving of the hands there. It's a little cold. I have the heater finally going out here, so it's okay. It's not as cold as it's been as of late, but it does feel a bit better. Head on over to ndbmedia.net. You see that down there at the bottom as it rolls across the screen. And yeah, you can see all the stuff that's going on in the world, and at least the NDB Media Network. So sorry. You can tell I'm a bit discombobulated right now. Probably gonna have to take some medication on air right now because it's 7 o'clock. I have to take them at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. So sorry, putting the personal stuff out there. That's one, and I have to find the other one. That's two. So yeah, I'm doing drugs. So I guess we'll see what happens, right? So I use my flask. This is the first soda that I have in about 2 weeks. Cherry Coke too. If I'm gonna risk my life, I might as well risk it for something I'm gonna like, right? But hey, again, thank you for joining us, and sorry for taking a little while to get going on this program. But we're doing it now, and hopefully it will be real good. Did some homework and some research the other day, and it was an article that I came across on the internet, and I decided to look it up. For those of you that drive, sorry, Claudia, this is not directed at you, but for those that drive, there are rules across the United States on the fast lane. And this is one thing that I have to tell you that annoys me most when it comes to driving, because you want the microcosm of America, just drive any multi-lane freeway. I wouldn't know about a turnpike because those are toll roads generally on the east or east of me, so that would be that way. So I'm looking west with a slightly southerly. Actually, west would be that way then. I am looking kind of southwest. But anyway, um, I looked it up, and there were many different laws, because one of the things that annoys me the most when I'm driving on the freeway is the moron that camps out in the left lane, the fast lane. And I know there are certain places in the United States that will cite you if you are not passing traffic. I've always known in the California handbook, it says that the left lane is for passing only. Now, it's very difficult to just avoid passing traffic when you're in stop and go, and traffic is very heavy. And I think we get that. But there are other times when there are people that just, well, I'm going the speed limit. And they fail to understand that there are laws. And in other places, they will nail you for that. And I want to know which places, so I did some research. I do know in Georgia, for instance, that if there is law enforcement doing their duty on the right, you have to pass a full lane over. You cannot pass right next to them. I like that. I think that's fair and that's good. Yeah, I can probably jam up traffic, but I believe it should be that way. So I decided to look because the state of Arizona is starting someone, and I'm going to put the article in the chat room right now. but I'm going to get to it in just a moment. But the article, I saw it 5 days ago. Arizona's slowpoke bill would ticket drivers $500 for going slow in the fast lane. Yeah, baby. I agree. Shouldn't be anyone doing that stuff, and they should not be there. And I most wholeheartedly agree. Now, the article talks about if you're a slow driver in Arizona, you may want to look out, or at least consider driving faster or getting out of the left lane. And folks, great. I'm glad you're obeying the law if you are a turtle or slowpoke in the left lane. Look, I get it. If there's a car coming behind me and it's feasible, I will move over to the right. I've always been a proponent for if you've got to get somewhere, then you just get there. Just don't risk my life. I do move over because I understand California law and other state laws that the left lane is for passing if someone's going to pass me. Now, if I'm already doing 90 and the guy still wants to pass me and the rest of the freeway is empty, go around. You can go around. I don't care. I don't care about that. But reasonably, if you want to pass, I get out of the way. But if you flash me, oh, I'm done. It's on cruise control anyway. And most of the time I drive on cruise control, so I'm not really worried about it. But in Arizona, if you're a slow driver, lawmakers in the state are putting forth a new bill that have passed would fine drivers for going too slow in the fast lane on the highways. Now you're going to have to check out the language, see what it is. And the language can be vague, it can be difficult to understand, but the bill, affectionately called the Slowpoke Bill, is being proposed by Arizona State Representative Teresa Martinez, a Republican of Casa Grande. And according to Arizona's ABC 15, Martinez says the idea for the bill came to her during her commute to Phoenix. She says this isn't about getting drivers to speed, it's about being safe. Because yes, as is made clear in the article, when you have someone that is driving slow, people will go around them, and that causes the accidents. I know. Why are they driving fast to begin with? They're driving at an accepted rate because police haven't pulled over, highway patrol haven't pulled over, state troopers haven't pulled them over. It's the flow of traffic. That's another law that we'll get into one day into the future. But it is. Highway patrol in California, as I've known several highway patrolmen and former highway patrolmen, that it's the flow of traffic. You want to let the traffic flow, and you'd like to have it, do what it needs to do. Hi, Elizabeth. Hope you're doing well, Elizabeth. And I, who drive, I resent slow drivers. I remind them regularly of God's wrath that is due to arrive. But as she was quoted in the article, it stated, the bill affectionately called, oh no, I'm sorry, I already read it. If you want to drive 70 miles per hour on the right, beautiful, wonderful. If you want to drive 70 miles an hour on the left, no bueno. You've got 5, 7, 10, 15 cars backed up. No. I know mountain roads that clearly say that if you have 4 cars behind you, pull over, let them pass. That's just 4. On several highways up here in Southern California, especially going up to Big Bear, and a few other mountain highways in California, it says that if more than 4 cars are following you, you're going too slow. Pull over. On mountain highways. When they pass on the right speeding, that's when you get accidents, Martinez said. We're not writing a bill that says drive 85, but we're saying that if you're going to drive slow, and oftentimes these people who are being the turtles, they're not even driving the speed limit. And that is what is frustrating to many drivers, including myself. So Arizona, good for you. The bill would fine drivers $500 if they're poking around in the fast lane. The law wouldn't apply to all interstates, though, only on interstates with 2 or more lanes. So duh, you only have 2 lanes. I talked about that. If you're jammed in traffic, what are you going to do? You're jammed in traffic. But if it's 2 or more lanes. Drivers have mixed feelings about the bill. Some told ABC 15 they thought it was strange to ticket drivers for going too slow. No, it's not strange. 10-cent heads that drive are the ones. Dude, don't be stupid. Oh, wow. God bless America. There should be some sort of limitations. Like if someone is going 45 miles per hour, that is a definite hazard. And yes, I knew a coworker who would drive less than the speed limit in the fast lane. Oh, as much as I love the guy, just oh my God. Anyway, another driver thought that money made from fines would be taken and used on widening local interstates like I-10, which many described as too narrow, and that's good. That's a good idea. Now in Southern California, I don't believe that freeways are ever going to be widened anymore anywhere. Now I understand the 105 has room, and I could see that one adding a fourth lane once the agreement with the residents. I don't know if it was a 30-year or a 50-year agreement on when they could widen the 105. But I can see the 105 going up to 4 lanes all the way through. Whether it will or not, costs lots of money, but there's room for it. They wouldn't have to purchase very much land. But, no, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, should be 4 lanes. But the bill is currently on its way to the Arizona House after passing a committee. If passed, Arizona would join a number of states across the country that have restrictive left lane laws. Many of these laws either outright ban driving in the left lane for anything other than passing or restrict drivers from using the lane. I agree. And I decided to look up what those are. And attorneys at law, I'm going to put this one. It's a chart. It's kind of cool. And this was made by Matheson, Wickert, and Lehrer of South Carolina Attorneys at Law. Or SC, sorry, Lehrer SC. They're in Hartford, Wisconsin, New Orleans, Orange County, California, Austin, Texas, Jacksonville, Florida, and Boston, Massachusetts, home of the Boston Red Sox. So it has a wonderful listing of the actual statute, the summary, and the whole idea of flow of traffic, which is really kind of cool. But I went ahead and did my own looking. And you can do a Google search for interstate left lane laws across America. And if you do that, which I'm about to do, 8 states pursue left lane changes. And that's as of March 16, 2023. Hi, Lethal. I will drive in any lane I want to, and if I get pulled over, I'll just save my tax dollars, pay your salary. I didn't agree to having this job. I don't accept the ticket. Hey, you don't get tickets. But I appreciate the desire to stand up to them. Hey, it's cool. But there are laws, and I've always known there was one in California, but since I didn't know the statute, I wasn't willing to argue it. But I knew that even in California, there is the statute that says you may not impede traffic. I was like, ooh, I like this. So I decided to look it up. And Thompson Law Injury Lawyers also have a listing for it. But I went ahead and found left lane driving laws state by state. And this is from autoinsurance.org. I take advantage of the freeway. So I agree with you. I always speed. If you pass me, you're driving too fast. Same thing. All right, go ahead. Move aside, dude. God bless you, and see if you make it home. Autoinsurance.org talks about left-hand driving laws and things to remember. Left lane cruisers can raise the accident risk for others. This is from insurance.org. Tickets for slow driving can result in an auto insurance rate bump because you're impeding traffic. Most states have a keep right law with different penalties. States with left lane driving laws, this is cool. Let me go to the map. Whoop. Let's do it right now. There it is. This is from autoinsurance.org. And if you look at it, all the maps in yellow Washington, Montana, South Dakota. Oh, and by the way, for stupid America, this is the Gulf of America down here. Yeah, right here. This is United States of America. This is Hawaii. This is Alaska. Keep right if slower than traffic around you. Washington, same. Montana, South Dakota, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Maine all have those. Now, in the dark blue or green, I don't know what color that is. Liz, what's that color? This one, Nevada, says keep right if traveling below the posted speed limit. So slow traffic to the right. I agree. Stay there, slow people. Ohio has it. When I was in Ohio back in 91, I did comment when I was on my way from Chillicothe to Columbus for the evening. I think it was a Friday night or Saturday night. And Chuck, who's driving, great guy, by the way. And I noticed that everyone was moving forward. It was posted 55 miles an hour. It's back in 91, April of 91. And he said, oh, no, dude, you go 2-3 miles over, state troopers nail you. So that was interesting that in Ohio, people were obeying the law. It was frustrating for me. I thought it was comical seeing people just go a mile or two over the speed limit. Wow. It's like, that's Wednesday. Actually, that's Sunday morning, Saturday morning here in Southern California. Ohio has it as well. North Kakalaki, Maryland. Interesting. I have to ask Michael about that, see if he knows. Now, on the other one, which is the light colored one, move right if blocking traffic. That is the majority of the states. Oh, I believe Alaska, keep right if traveling below the posted speed limit. Now, most roads in Alaska are the state highways, and they're 2 lanes, 1 lane going, 1 lane coming. When you're in the cities of Palmer, Soldotna, because I've been there, Anchorage, yeah, Glenarm there was a gas station, a store, and maybe 6 other retail things as I arrived in Glenarm. That was cool, man. I mean, talk about being way out there. I was way out there. But anyway, the vast majority of roads in Alaska, they're single lane out in the bush and out in the cities. But in Anchorage, you do have a stretch of highway which goes for about, I don't know, 10, 15 miles, which is an interstate. It's a 3-lane multi-axis thoroughfare. Wow. It's from South Anchorage to downtown. So they have the same thing in Alaska, where it keep to right if traveling below the posted speed limit. When I was in Alaska, I really didn't have trouble. People drive fast, but they're good drivers for the most part. Now, the thing about Alaska is because there are 2 lanes, one coming, one going, for the most part, except in the cities that I mentioned, Soldotna, Palmer, wherever Sarah lives. What's that one? Wasilla. Wasilla reminds me of Rosarito down here in Baja California, because you have the main road that goes through the middle of town, then you have a dirt embankment on both sides, and that's the way Rosarito used to be. So, but anyway, Alaska's the same thing. Then you have the vast majority of states move right if blocking traffic, and California is, and this is one that I wish that they would enforce more than anything else. And then you have this lighter colored yellow, which is South Dakota, which I did say, and when I lumped them all together, I was wrong. South Dakota has no law. It looks like it's the only state that has no law regarding slow traffic on the left. Now, in these states, which are in red, which I mentioned, Georgia and Florida, which I've driven in both those states, and I've also driven in Virginia and Utah, I have not driven in Indiana or Arkansas. I don't know if I'll drive in Arkansas. You never know. Sorry, folks. Having trouble. I don't know if I'm prepared to. I don't know if I'm prepared to do the program at this point in time. So, without something covering what's not there anymore. So, anyway, these states no left lane travel unless turning or passing. And I did notice that. But when we were in Georgia, my daughter and I died laughing in a good way that we came up to a traffic circle. No, it was a full intersection, four-way, and I stopped because I arrived either second or third, but the other two cars refused to go. They were like, no, you go, no, you go. And I could not believe that. That would never happen anywhere in Southern California, from the border of San Isidro all the way up to Bakersfield. That would never happen in California. Oh, it wouldn't happen in San Francisco either. I was genuinely shocked when I was in St. Mary's, Georgia. It was really nice right over there. Liberal states won't pull you over for something so petty. I-90 and I-94 run through Minnesota. Limits is 70. Most drive 80 and are left alone. Through the Twin Cities, it's 60, but most drive 70 and are left alone. I would agree with California. The speed limit is 70. In the cities, I believe it's 65. But in the cities, they're driving 80. And in the highways out in the country, the bumpkins, they're driving 80 as well, sometimes 85, 90. I've driven that recently, 90. I do. I drive fast. At night when there are no cars, yeah, I drive very fast. I fully admit it. There are other cars on the road. I am careful around those cars. I know someone who questions my ability to drive, and that individual's had 4 accidents in the last 2 years. And I apologize. I think my cats are getting a little nervous, but I have all 3 of them inside today. I don't know if you were able to see, but I posted a picture of Ash. He's great. No, actually, I didn't purchase anything. I used the top of a case of paper box, the ones that have 10 reams, and it gave me an old towel, and I created a bed for Canela. And she's used it for several days now, but right now Ash is using it. And I appreciate how all the cats have discovered it. I think it's really cool. I may take a picture of it. And they like it. I appreciate it. Canela's over in the other chair, which you can't see right here. Oh, I apologize. Something's on in the background. And Husker is right over here in front of me. So it's kind of neat. I have all 3 of my little kitties with me right now. I was at 90 yesterday, empty freeway. Yeah, I've done that. I've told everyone that the best time to go to Las Vegas from Los Angeles is Thursday night, 10 o'clock. Best time to go. There's no cops after 10 o'clock. I find them each and every time all up in Baker, usually around 1 or 2 in the morning. They used to be at the Denny's getting ready for their early Friday shift or for the rest of the evening, whatever they're doing. And there's usually about four of them there on a Thursday night. And Baker is one of the last stops when you're on your way to Las Vegas in California. Baker's out in the desert. I think they call it the front door of Death Valley, or the doorway to Death Valley, which is kind of cool. I'm going to show you where it is right now. All the highway patrolmen are there on Thursday night or Friday morning. So if you look at the map here in Southern California, this is the 15 freeway moving up. This is Hesperia, Victorville. This is Barstow, where the 40 begins and moves east. And I believe that's parts of the old Route 66. No, that's 40. This might be the old 66. Yeah, Amboy. Yeah, this is the old 66. Yeah, Baghdad, Klondike, Siberia, Baghdad, Amboy, Chambliss, Essex. That's the old 66. It's just crazy, man. So if you see it, it went through the open valleys, or the open valley right here, and the 40 cut through it. But anyway, going to Vegas. This is Barstow, right here. There it is, Barstow. And I don't know where the Denny's is. Somewhere. There's a Dairy Queen. Look, this is what Alaska looks like. Just roads like this. The Denny's has got to be around here. Don't tell me it's not. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep, there. That's the Denny's. And I've never stopped at that Denny's. I've stopped at this gas station. Yeah. It's an A&W restaurant as well. I did not know that. Anyway, that's one of the last stops. It's the gateway to Death Valley, which is over here, which is a long, long ride, quite frankly, into Death Valley. It's crazy, all this. Maybe one day I'll take that trip, but I don't think so. But anyway, I love midnight driving. Nobody around also means none of those awful, super bright headlights in your eyes. Yes, I agree. I most wholeheartedly agree. So I thought you guys might find that of interest, about which states have which requirements. And I, being in Southern California, I just don't understand how you can have an idiot driving 40, 45, 50 miles an hour. Hi, Justin. If the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, do you think Prince Charming, Travis Kelce, would have asked Taylor Swift, Cinderella, to marry him at the end of the game? Oh, I don't know. I don't think he would embarrass her that way. I think they already know if they're going to get married or not. They just haven't announced it. That's funny. Didn't think about it. Well, he did look rather depressed. So maybe, Justin, I was watching the game and he looked depressed throughout the entire night. And it was a bit of a spanking. They decided to make a show of it later, which I knew Mahomes would. But it took him way too long to get there. I would never like to hear another thing about a year, Kelce, again. Yeah. Well, it's done on that one. I don't know if they're going to get married. I don't know. But I believe they've already talked about it and they know what's going on. But I want to tell you that I found something else while I was looking all this up. I blame Pat Mahomes. I don't like him as a player, even though he seems to be as polite as a person. Yeah. I've cheered for the guy in the past, but I appreciate that, Justin. I would agree with you on that. He doesn't seem to be a punk. He's well liked by his peers, but they're jealous of how well he's done. I can see that. This kid's awesome. He's really good at what he does. He just started off late. They couldn't get anything going. The receivers were dropping the few passes that he was getting to them, and they sacked him 7 times. Wow. But that was the number one defense. They were on a mission. The Philadelphia Eagles definitely were on a mission, and they were there to get it done. The older Kelce brother played hockey, so if he wants to talk hockey, I will listen. Otherwise, enough of those two guys. That's funny. I agree. Now, continuing a little bit with my theme of this, I discovered, and I'm going to post in the chat room, this was kind of funny. 10 strange car laws that still exist. Most laws tend to make perfect sense when they're passed, but changes in technology, the passing of time, or a complete shift in public perceptions can often make these laws seem downright strange. In the US, we have plenty of legacy automotive laws that are still in force. Some make absolutely no sense in modern context, while others seem odd until you realize what the law was trying to do in the first place. Now, we've talked about, I believe they're called blue laws, that the laws are still in the book. I've talked about them even a few weeks ago, that there's a law on the books in Boston. It says you must take your musket to church on Sunday. Obviously, you know how far back that goes. So, and there are other blue laws, and we've done programs on it, and we might do another one in the future. But right now, these are 10 laws that are still in today. Buffing your car with used underwear. If you're not keen on taking your car to a local car wash, when it's in need of a clean, you're likely doing the job yourself at home. I probably believe that they probably caught some kids or maybe some adults messing around on the hood of the car or the top of the car or the trunk. Oh no, sir, we were buffing. Man, that's kind of cool. Think about that. Buff. Anyway, what I'm trying to imply, buffing the car with their underwear. You can see that. But if you're simply doing a quick wash and dry, you'll need to pay attention to the tools of the trade if you live in San Francisco, of all places. If you dry your pride and joy off with the used underwear in San Francisco, you may be liable for a fine. Perhaps the San Francisco Police Department is concerned about skid marks. Oh! There's no law against using clean underwear, so suddenly it's the police duty to check the cleanliness of the undergarment first. We suggest a microfiber cloth in any event. Wow. There's a law in the books in the city next to me where my mom lives that it's illegal to sell hamburgers on Sundays. Yes. Well, when I was in Washington, D.C., markets, I believe, do not sell liquor. And in Washington, D.C., restaurants can't open up until 11 a.m., I believe. Yeah, we left the hotel at 7 or 8 in the morning. We couldn't find anything in Washington, D.C. It was interesting. That was, yeah. Be careful when opening your door in Oregon. If you're in Oregon, make sure you don't, and thanks for that, Lethal. Make sure you don't leave your door open. Oh, way off topic. Lethal, your name was mentioned at my sister's house yesterday several times, especially when they got up to like 30 some points, 30-6 or whatever, 30-12. I think it was 36. I called it when Mahomes was 4th and 5 late in the third quarter and they didn't make it. I think it was a drop pass or whatever, and they lost it at that point. And I said, this game's over. Well, it wasn't at that moment. I did say the game was over, but the very next few plays, they went deep, scored a touchdown, at which it was over. And if you check the time point, that's when I went to Sports Talk with the guys on Facebook and said, the game's over. I showed you what I was doing. I didn't watch 1 second. I was playing video games. I'm sorry you did. I am sorry if I didn't see that. Sorry. No, I'll have to take a look at it and see. But I did appreciate your comments. Dude, I was watching with the family. We're all watching the game. I couldn't do a love line. You're so funny when you call it love line. I will get back to that one. I just can't at the moment. If you're in Oregon, make sure you don't leave your door open so that it becomes a hazard for other road users. The law states that you cannot leave your doors open longer than necessary to load and unload passengers. Okay. The other road users part refers to vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. Yeah, I can see that. If you want to flip your door open just as a cyclist comes whizzing by, you'd better do it in another state, although we're pretty sure causing someone bodily harm in this way is illegal everywhere. Yeah. You need a chaperone for your sheep in Montana. Not kidding. It's there. It's a law and it's active. Montana's vast and beautiful state. If one day you decide to take your sheep with you to show at the sites, make sure you aren't alone in it in the cabin. That's because driving a car with just your sheep in the passenger seat can get you fined. See? You're getting a ticket. I can see that. Isn't that what sheepdogs are for? I guess so. I thought so. That's right. You need a chaperone to come along to make sure that the sheep doesn't distract you from your driving. In Montana. All right. Wow. Boys take sheep out. Wow. I guess the jokes are real. Similarly, it's also illegal to leave your sheep unattended in a truck in the same state. Fortunately, we're firmly on the animal protection side of these laws, as am I. Careful how you undress in your car in Illinois. Ooh. I don't know if we've all been there, but you finish a long day at work and you need to slip into something a little more comfortable for a night out? No. Or perhaps you live in your car and you're changing into your pajamas, and that I could see, before tucking up for the night. If you've ever been a student, it's likely you've had to change your shirt in your car between classes because you spilled your Frappuccino on it before classes started. Either way, if you live in Evanston, Illinois, you'll be breaking the law if you undress in your car. The only exception to this, if you draw the curtains or if your car is on fire. Both of these scenarios sound rather extreme to us. But if you go to Quaker states, especially Virginia and the DC area, I can see that. I really can. Ohio doesn't want you to get dizzy. Let's say you want to visit Oxford, Ohio, and see the town square. That's perfectly legal. Then you circle it a few times looking for a decent place to park, also perfectly within the law. If it's busy and you find yourself heading for your 100th turn around the square, then you would be in serious trouble. I should say you'll be in serious trouble, not you'd be. That's because the law states that one more time around the town square will get you a hefty fine. 100 times is fine, though. Nothing more. If you want to do donuts like some celebrity race car drivers do, you'll have to do it around someone else's town square. Wow. Georgia allows speeding. Sometimes. The Georgia State Assembly is exempt from speeding fines while it's in session. Yes, I've heard about this. That's right. The law states that although speeding is a misdemeanor in Georgia, during a legislative session, members of the General Assembly are exempt from receiving speeding tickets. This one seems strange to us, as surely the Assembly members would be seated in a building during that time, but perhaps it's the latecomers doing 100 miles per hour trying to get to the meeting. If you can, however, be pulled over if you don't move over from the left lane of a highway, a faster vehicle approaches you. Georgia seems to be like a great place to live. I talked about that, the left lane, and they actually reference it here. That's funny. No multitasking while driving in Oklahoma. It's the same law here in the United States. Freudian slip. In the great state of California. In the Republic of California. It's illegal to read and drive in Oklahoma. Just not at the same time. The law passed in 2015 specifically mentions texting or using a handheld cellular phone. But we're pretty sure it extends to reading the latest crime novel as well. This seems obvious and is more pertinent than ever considering the advent of technology that comes to be fully automated to the extent that drivers are falling asleep while their cars drive themselves. What? People in Oklahoma can read? That was funny. I like that one. Keep your swearing to yourself in Maryland. Oh, I think I'd be arrested. The quality of driving in Rockville, Maryland must be pretty dire if there's a law preventing you from shouting obscenities out your car window. Did you know that in Germany, when you're on the Autobahn, and this might be on any road, but I know on the Autobahn, you are not allowed to signal another driver. You cannot wave them on. Can't do anything. It is against the law on the Autobahn. And also, I didn't know this, but German cars do not have cup holders, as the Germans say. Why are you drinking? You are driving. If you happen to drive through there, make sure you stick to mounting your sword or swear words and hand gestures. Oh, that was a Freudian. I saw another word. Swear words and hand gestures only. Howard, because if someone can hear your crazy outburst, you may be liable for a fine and even a stint in jail. What a way to control your road rage. Don't get lost in Colorado. Are you the sort of person who likes to go out for a few laps around the block, or perhaps you aren't that great with sat nav directions? Well, don't go through Westminster, Colorado, because they will slap you with a fine, even if you are just the owner of the car. Essentially, the law states that it is unlawful to drive past a traffic control point 3 times in the same direction within 3 hours. The good news is the law doesn't apply between 4 a.m. and 9 p.m. Oh, I guess stalkers, right? Ooh, out in the backwoods. So pick your travel times carefully if you're not sure of where you're going. No vanity plates for bad drivers in New Jersey. Planning to put a cool vanity plate on your new car in New Jersey? You might have a clean driving record for a minimum of 10 years before applying for one. That means no speeding, reckless driving, or any other motoring infraction for a decade. At least you know that anyone with a vanity plate already on their car must be a half-decent driver. It just means they haven't been caught. It's like a motorbike. You ask the person about whether they've fallen or not, and every motorbike person, operator, will tell you there are 2 types. The motorcyclist that has fallen and the one that will fall. So continuing with the thought, at least you know that anyone with a vanity plate already on their car must be a half-decent driver. And that's a definition of vanity we can really get behind, I suppose so. They have no infractions whatsoever. So, hope you guys like that one. I thought that was kind of cool. And I don't know if you realize, but switching gears a little bit from current events, while this happened, and I don't know if they're up in arms over this in the United Kingdom or not. I find it amusing because people are already offended by it. But I found an article, which was about 3 weeks ago, so I apologize that I'm just now referencing it. It will not complete on YouTube, so I apologize. On YouTube, it'll split in half. But DNA analysis of Britain's 10,000-year-old complete skeleton reveals, they already found the skeleton, they already knew about it, reveals first modern Britons had a dark to black skin. In the article, it says the findings that knocked the wind out of a long-held assumptions about early British inhabitants. DNA analysis of Britain's oldest complete skeleton proved the first modern Britons who lived about 10,000 years ago had dark to black skin. The ancient skeleton known as Cheddar Man was discovered in 1903 in Somerset Goes Cave and gave scientists a glimpse into Britain's prehistoric past. Wow. There are some articles, there are some images on it, kind of cool, but it is from the Mesolithic time, about 11,000 years, which is absolutely crazy. It goes on to say that researchers from the Natural History Museum and University College London extracted DNA by drilling a tiny 2-millimeter hole in the ancient skull. British have holes in their heads, as elegant proof by this story. It really shows up that these imagery, racial categories that we have are really very modern constructions or very recent constructions that really are not applicable to the past at all. The analysis painted this ancient Britain in vivid detail. A hunter-gatherer with blue eyes which is interesting because there's a lot going on in the geo record in paleontology. Sorry, folks. In paleontology, that blue is not a very common color and wasn't common even in the past. There was an aberration, blue came into play, and now it's just one of those things. But anyway, the analysis painted this ancient Britain vivid detail: a hunter-gatherer with blue eyes, dark curly hair, and a complexion that was dark to black. The combination of features, though startling to a modern observer, was common in Western Europe during this period. Cheddarman's ancestors had migrated out of Africa via the Middle East, eventually crossing Doggerland. You guys know what Doggerland is, right? It's that land or space that used to be between the United Kingdom, Northwest Europe, Denmark, and Norway during the Ice Age, because all the water went up north. British people aren't real people, just a failed attempt at a droid army. They know how to queue with the best of them. Professor Chris Stringer, who studied the skeleton for 4 decades, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 decades, was astonished with the reconstruction. To come face to face with this guy on what could have looked like, and the striking combination of the hair, the face, the eye color, and that dark skin is something a few years ago we couldn't have imagined. And yet that's what the scientific data shows. These findings represented a surprise to many because genes that confer light skin only began to spread through European populations much later than scientists assumed. Pale skin, scientists now propose, evolved in farming populations of Europe about 6,000 years ago, possibly as an adaptation to help the skin synthesize vitamin D from the sun more efficiently. Cheddarman lived as a skilled hunter-gatherer, fashioning sharp flint blades for butchering animals and making harpoons out of antlers for spearfishing. He stood about 5'4" and died in his early 20s, although it is not specified how. Genetic research revealed he was lactose intolerant and thus unable to digest milk, much as other pre-farming populations around the world. The implications for British ancestry are profound. About 10% of white British ancestry can be traced back to this ancient population. That is cool. That's good stuff, man. I like it. I like it like that. Yeah, baby. I know. I won't sing anymore. It's frightening. And probably my final story for the night, I want to share this one that we may have discovered a brand new type of gold in the United States. And the article is posting right now as we speak. This is for the Daily Galaxy. Massive gold hydrogen reserves discovered beneath 30 U.S. states. And there's a map that shows hydrogen. It's very deep and it's crazy. Look at Michigan. Michigan is heavy with it. You have other portions here at North Dakota, kind of like the Bakken oil field, right? The fictional world of crypto. Isn't that the newest form of gold? Well, in many ways it is for some people, because it's almost a fool's gold. Unless you get in early, there's a low chance of earning from crypto. And the whole idea of crypto is not to earn, quite frankly. It's to not be owned by a government. That's what it's about. Freedom! That was Macaulay. In a groundbreaking discovery, researchers have identified massive reserves of naturally occurring hydrogen gas, also known as gold hydrogen. Buried deep beneath the surface of at least 30 U.S. states, this discovery, accompanied by the first comprehensive map of potential hydrogen reserves, challenges long-held beliefs about the availability of geologic hydrogen and opens the door to a new era in clean energy exploration. Scientists believe that tapping into these reserves could revolutionize the global energy landscape, providing a zero emissions alternative to fossil fuels at an unprecedented scale. For decades, the conventional wisdom was that naturally occurring hydrogen did not accumulate in sufficient quantities to be used for energy purposes. Basically, the stuff that they have there is all synthesized, right? And the synthesized isn't the correct word, but it's manufactured. But I may be corrected. Japan, baby. Japan. I want a hydrogen car. I do as well. This map that I showed just a few moments ago is tantalizing because it shows that several parts of the U.S. could have subsurface hydrogen resource after all. A rich resource hidden beneath the surface. Natural hydrogen forms through chemical reactions in the Earth's crust, primarily as water interacts with certain rock types. Under the right conditions, this hydrogen can accumulate in underground reservoirs, much like oil or natural gas. For years, scientists believed these accumulations were too small or diffuse to be of practical use. However, the new study overturns this notion, mapping large swaths of the U.S. with geologic conditions ideal for hydrogen storage. That is crazy. That is absolutely. This could be a game changer. Definitely. Excuse me a moment. Hydrogen is increasingly viewed as a cornerstone of the clean energy transition. Unlike fossil fuels, burning hydrogen produces no greenhouse gases, only water vapor. Its versatility makes it suitable for various applications, including transportation, powering hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, industry, decarbonizing heavy industries like steel and cement production, and energy storage, serving as a long-term storage for renewable energy. With global hydrogen demand projected to rise fivefold from 1% to 5%. The discovery of these natural reserves is particularly timely. Current hydrogen production methods rely heavily on fossil fuels, making geologic hydrogen an attractive zero-carbon alternative. According to scientists, just 2% of the Earth's estimated hydrogen reserves could power the world for 200 years. And it's clean. That's crazy. One of the primary hurdles right now is extraction technology. They're going to have to figure it out. Another issue is infrastructure development. Now, Japan is all in on hydrogen. So they're leading the way on it, and we should pay attention. We should learn from them. And the environmental considerations will play a key role in determining the viability of hydrogen extraction. While hydrogen itself is a zero-emission fuel, the process used to access it must be carefully managed to avoid unintended ecological impacts. For example, drilling in sensitive areas or disrupting underground ecosystems could negate some of hydrogen's environmental benefits. Addressing the technology will require technological innovation, policy support. Come on, not only the government, but people. Sustainability measures, ensuring that hydrogen production and extraction processes adhere to strict environmental standards. Collaboration. Science, industry, and the government need to get together to accelerate hydrogen's integration into the energy market. But it's going to be very difficult when you have the older companies, the dinosaur companies, because we get our oil from dinosaurs. That's not actually 100% correct. I don't think it's even 1% correct. It's an association, but we don't get. Jurassic Park got it wrong. We don't get our oil from dinosaurs. Might be 99% wrong, but I'm not going to bore you with the paleo stuff. But this is some exciting stuff, having hydrogen. My pet dinosaur disagrees. Well, I have 3 cats right here who are doing very well, and I'm going to have to feed them in a few moments. And fortunately, they're doing very well. They're all asleep, surprisingly, with my loud voice. That is cool. I will post a picture of all of them. But for now, I want to thank everyone for joining me. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a stress feeling right now because of this. It's not working well with my glasses right now. And like I said, I'm not prepared to reveal what's missing right now. So anyway, it's a insecurity thing. So we'll see. For everyone else, I want to thank everyone for joining us. This is Monday Night in America here on NDB Media, and you can follow us right there. There, see it goes, and right there, look at that, NDB Media. So a lot of stuff going on, and we want to thank you for joining us. And I guess we will see you guys on the other side. Peace always. I'll be back on Saturday for Sports Talk with the guys, but there's and on Thursday for Travel H Radio at 2 p.m. Pacific and some others. No, that should be it. Just Travel H Radio and Sports Talk with the guys and Monday Night in America, at least for the next bit. We have scheduled approximately April 28th on a Sunday night. We're going to be reviewing Andor for however many weeks it takes. We'll see. But again, thank you for joining us. I am Roger. I'm the scorekeeper. I am Palpatine. I am Laborman. I am many things. So thanks for joining. We'll see you guys. Peace always. And thank you for stopping in. First